Hi Anand. Thank you for coming to the Indian Film Festival. You and your films are known for incisive social commentary. With The World is Family, you have delved both into your personal history and the political landscape of India's independence. How were you able to weave together these disparate elements and also the message that you intended to convey?
So when I began shooting, I didn't know I was making a film. Because I was just recording my parents as they grew older. So I didn't want to lose them. And I always had cameras at home. So I started filming events at home. Like family gatherings. And then I started doing interviews with them. And then a kind of oral history came out. And then I realized that the older generation in my family were part of India's freedom struggle. And there are stories that people haven't heard. And so I realized that. And after they had passed away, many years later I started editing. And then I added a look for archival material that would illustrate what they were talking about. So that's how the film grew.
And so it was a seed of an idea, but not really an idea that kind of built upon itself, right?
Yeah, it developed into this film. It wasn't actually preconceived as a film that would go out to the public.
There's a very organic feel to it that you can see. Thank you. The most of the film is about your direct family's involvement with the freedom struggle. You also show trips from your peace trip to Pakistan. Can you tell us more about including those elements in there?
Yeah, so I've been to Pakistan 5 or 6 times since 1999 is the first time I went. Because I'm part of an organization that began to build friendship across the border with like-minded people. So it was like a people-to-people friendship movement, even though the governments were fighting. So whenever we would fight to get visas, and if we could cross the border, then large groups of Indians would go over, or the next few years, Pakistanis would come to India, and we would do these exchanges. And what came out of that was very wonderful, because people who haven't been to Pakistan have been, for us in India, Pakistan has been demonized. So there's we're told that to be afraid that that place is full of terrorists. But actually we found the opposite to be true, that Pakistanis really welcomed us, and ordinary people who were not part of the movement would be very happy to meet people from across the world. Because when partition happened, it was an artificial division that happened overnight. Villages were divided in half. People's families were divided in half. So the thing that both Indians and Pakistanis actually want is to be able to freely mix.
It's a lovely story of community that you just talked about here. One more question for you. So IndieWire recently published an article about 6 filmmakers that are paying homage to you. Some of whom have actually been shown at IndieMeet, that they've been showcased here. Who are some filmmakers that you took inspiration from while honing your craft?
While I did my work to begin with, I wouldn't say any one filmmaker, because I started like 50 years ago. So amongst the documentary filmmakers that I really respected when I saw their work, one was Patricio Guzman from Chile, who had made films before the coup d'etat in 1973, when Allende was murdered and thousands of Chileans were killed in Chile, mainly with the help of the CIA. They overthrew the democratically elected government of Chile, and this he and his team had been making films for a very long time in Chile, and then they had to escape and put the film together outside Chile. And the film is called Battle of Chile. So that was one of the films and the kinds of films that showed me that film could be a a way of recording history.
Impressive media. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for coming to IndieMeme. We're so happy to have you here. We're very excited to watch your documentary. I hope you have a great opening night. Thank you for talking to us.